This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glynn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 555. It's the episode of Hose.
555.
It is 555 of Shutters Inc.
That's like, the Chinese think 888 is like really lucky.
Yeah.
Well, we're like 5558s of lucky.
That's exactly right.
If you look at it that way, yeah.
This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and that there is Mr. Glynn Lavender from creativephotoworkshops.com.au.
The philosopher Glynn Lavender.
The philosopher.
He's a philosopher. He's a deep thinker. Yeah. Not many people would leap straight to 5/8 of lucky. That's Aristotle type stuff, my friend.
Is that what it is?
Or something like that. Wasn't the one who chatted Eureka and ran down the street naked? Or was it Mephistopheles?
I think you'll find that was Midas, wasn't it?
No, Midas was the touch things that went gold.
Oh no! Sorry, it was the king that wanted the gold.
How'd you wipe your bum?
What?
How do you wipe your bum?
I use toilet paper. How do you do it?
No, I know you, but if Midas, he touches the toilet paper, it goes gold. You're not really wiping your bum with gold.
Well, he was a king. He may very well have.
I suppose if he's rich enough, someone else could wipe it for him.
That's right. Wipers?
So no, I think was it wipers? Yeah, of course, you can touch yourself because that doesn't turn gold. So you can use your hand, I guess. Go, like you're living in the country or something. No, it was they're definitely not him who shouted Eureka.
I'd like to apologise to the listeners right now. This is not the way I imagined we'd be wrapping up the year.
You really? Seems on par to me.
Everything else
seems fairly appropriate to me. Yeah. Hey, it's golden, thanks to you, if you don't mind. Yeah.
How have you been?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been... it's been a few weeks again, hasn't it?
It has. It's been 3, I think, because we were supposed to record last week, and I just completely lost.
And we couldn't. We just couldn't get schedules. I'm busy. You're busy. Time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was doing nothing, and you're doing nothing at a different time.
Yeah, that's it.
But, no. I've been okay. I've been out taking a few photos.
Nice.
Well, by photos, I mean my footy team training. Which I do. Yep. This time of year, so I've been out with a big 150 to 600 and having some fun with that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's always a bit of fun because you don't get to use big lenses like that very much as a portrait photographer. So it's kind of nice to get out and have a bit of play with it.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I was looking at some shots that I took yesterday. Astounded how sharp it is. Just bloody astounded. It's just like, man, yeah.
And this is the Canon version of it, obviously.
The Tamron 150 to
but the Canon mount.
I know, but I had to put the word Tamron in. I'm contractually obliged.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I'm not contractually obliged, but I do feel obliged.
Yeah.
I did miss out. I've got to say, I'm a bit disappointed. This weekend just gone, the Tamron America's Pro Team Summit. And they flew all their pro members into the Sedona Hills in Arizona or something for photo shoots and stuff and social media. And I couldn't go.
Why couldn't you go?
Yeah. Well, they didn't pay enough money for me to get over there. they gave everyone, I think it was like an $800 US allowance to get there.
Oh, right.
And it just wasn't good. The way airfares at the moment. I was going to have to be paying out $500 or $600.
Mate, that would have just about covered the parking at Melbourne Airport, wouldn't it?
Woof. I'll get someone to drop me off. Father-in-law, that's what they're good for. But it probably would have cost me $500 or $600 at least, probably closer to $1,000 for 3 days. Yeah. And then fly all the way home again. Yeah. And cutting into family. I would have been exhausted. I don't want to fly for 40 hours out of 72, out of 100 hours. Yeah. In my health conditions as they are, because that's probably pushing the friendship a little bit. Too far. That's not really the time of the year we can stay any longer. So yeah. So I didn't go, but I saw some lovely photos are all taken. There's some amazing sunsets. They were doing some model shoots. They were doing all sorts of cool stuff.
Nice.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. But that's it. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks. Nutting and taking some photos of football people and then nutting.
Excellent.
It's not true. I'm about to announce early next year a March 2025 India photo tour with my good mate Cam Blake down in Tasmania.
Right. So you go on twice in 5 months?
Twice in 4 or 5 months, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow.
I'd go even more often if I could.
Yeah, right.
So just in the midst of coordinating that, going to a few places I've never been to before, so it requires a little bit more, not places, but like day trips out from those places that I have been to things I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like there's one village that does tie-dyeing, as an example, or batik. Batik.
I did that in high school.
Yeah, but they do, like, the entire village is like covered, parts of the day is covered with all the fabric out drying. Yep. So you get these beautiful old buildings with these amazing colours all the way through it, and
nice.
And then cool people surrounding it.
Yeah, so. Cool.
But I don't know. I can't find anyone who ever goes there to get any information to find out, well, what time of day is good to be there? Is it actually going to be any good? Is it, I've got this vision of how cool it could be, but what if it's none of that?
Yeah, right.
All the joys of going to places. And then I found this old could
you not, at the tail end of your November trip, do a recon?
No, because it's a long way.
Right.
It would require a flight and drives, and it just adds even more time that I'm already away for 15 days from the family or whatever. So, and it's only for a few hours of one day. Oh, so it's a long way to go for a few hours of one day. And then I found this this old fort, this old 12th century fort that's mostly abandoned, but one part's been converted into a luxury hotel. Oh. But no one goes there.
Wow.
It's like in the middle of nowhere, like literally middle of nowhere.
Wow.
And I've never even heard of it till I stumbled by mistake going through Google Earth, just travelling down roads in Google Earth, and this place came up as a place you could click on. So what's this? And that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So so I've just been doing some bit of reconnoitring for all that the last couple of weeks.
So now you need to Google reviews on said hotel.
Well, there's 3, all from Indians.
Right.
And I think it's the only people who really stayed there, and I just don't know, but it looks amazing.
The catch is, did they all have the same surname, Glynn?
No, I think there were genuine reviews. They were on TripAdvisor. I think they were genuine, but it's not. Again, it's not a place that's visited very much, so it's not. There's not a lot of Western tourists obviously anywhere near it. So it's well off the beaten path. It's a 5-hour drive to get there. Yeah, right. And then a 4-hour drive to get back anywhere good. So it's a commitment. Yeah. But one I'm prepared to take. So
nice.
Yeah, so kind of interesting. So that's what's been keeping my little brain busy.
Yeah.
And have you got your house unpacked yet, or you're fully?
Mate, mostly. Like all of the stuff that we need for living is unpacked, and the stuff that's not unpacked now is the stuff that'll still not be unpacked 10 years from now.
Exactly.
So, some of that is paperwork that I used to have in a filing cabinet, but Kath said that filing cabinet is not coming with us. So the paperwork just has to live in a box until I actually acquire a new filing cabinet, which is in the foreseeable future. I'm just waiting for things to happen at work, because there's a filing cabinet there that I'm going to snaffle. So.
And she knows you're bringing this. Are you going to leave it at work and fill it up? No.
My boss has said I need to get rid of this filing cabinet, and I said, well, I'll take it.
But what has your real boss said, though? The missus.
Oh, yeah, she's fine. She's fine.
She's okay.
So.
But she objected to the other filing cabinet.
She did.
This filing cabinet's okay.
Because the other filing cabinet was very old, and it was scratched, and it looked ratty, and one of the drawers, the runner, didn't work properly. So it was always...
They call that shabby chic, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Shabby chic.
That's exactly what it was.
People pay good money for that.
It was a prime example of shabby chic.
Or maybe just shabby. about so much of the sheep.
That's it. So,
oh dear.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is the final episode for the year, my friend.
It is.
It is. Have you got any Christmas wishes for yourself? Have you got any little things?
I've just started getting back into producing content for my Darktable YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
Which it's been a very dry year, in the sense that until a week or so ago, the last real content I produced was in March. There's just been so much going on, between trying to sell Springfield and then all of the weekends that we were coming up to this region looking for a place to buy, and then we got this place, and then it was like we exchanged contracts on this place 10 days before we went to Alaska, and then we were in Alaska, and then came home, and there was 2 weeks to get the house packed up and to move into this place, and then it was all the unpacking, and before you know it, it's bloody December, and you're like, holy crap, where did the year go? So I have said multiple times thank you to all of the patrons who have hung around. I fully expected that I would lose some, and I didn't lose as many as I thought I would. But I hold no grudges against those who withdrew.
Pay for content and you're not providing anything.
And that is exactly what I said. I said I totally understand if you withdraw your support. It's just there's just so much going on. So it's been really nice to get back into it. And of course, the thing was, version 4.4 came out in June, and I'd not had a chance to cover any of that stuff. So I said, I want to get out some version 4.4 new features videos, even though 4.6 will be out, in another 3 days,
Jeez.
Yeah, because they're doing 2 releases a year now. So, and of course, the thing is, I still have heaps more stuff that I want to cover of the new features for 4.4. And I know it sounds crazy to do it when 4.4 is now 6 months old and the next version's right around the corner, but I kind of want it for completeness on my channel to say that, I at least covered everything along the way. And of course, the other thing is, because I've not had any time with Darktable this year, I've got no clue as to what's coming in 4.6. So I said in the video that I just released, when 4.6 comes out, I'm going to be reading the release notes at the same time as all of my viewers are, and then having to give myself a crash course in whatever those new features are to then create content around that. So, so it's been good to get back into the swing of producing some content for the YouTube channel again. I do love this room. I love the fact that the walls are painted grey, because it makes checking
reflects
white
your personality.
Thank you, mate.
Balances your hair.
White balancing is a whole lot easier than it was in the last room, which was painted a sort of duck egg, yellow egg kind of thing.
Yeah, that's not going to help, is it?
It was shocking to try and white balance in that room. So that's pretty cool. The only thing is the acoustics in here, but I've ordered some acoustic foam, which is meant to be arriving tomorrow.
So to cover up all the grey walls.
Exactly.
So therefore you won't have the grey walls.
So the foam will be black, so it won't change the colour.
Oh, gold.
Just different luminosity of the same hue.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Work has been going crazy busy because I sort of wrap up as of tomorrow, which is Friday. I am forced to take 2 weeks leave at the end of the year, so I'll be off through until the 2nd of January, back to work on the 2nd. And Max came home 9 days ago. So
nice.
And then disappeared as of today. He's gone for 5 days. He's gone on he booked himself a 5-night, 4-day cruise out of Sydney that just goes up to Brisbane and back. So it's like he's doing it all by himself. Yeah. It's like, good on you, mate. So, but then he'll come back on Monday and he'll be here for another 8 days or thereabouts until Boxing Day, and then on Boxing Day we drive him up to the airport and he flies back to Darwin and gets back to work. So
man.
Yeah, so it's nice to have him
nice
home.
to have Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and what was great was he got home here, 8-9 days ago, the day before his birthday, as the first time we've got to celebrate his birthday with him since his 20th. And this was
really?
his 23rd. We missed out on 4 birthdays. Missed out on 3 birthdays, the 20th, the 21st and 22nd. Oh, so it was the first one since his 19th. Yeah, so it was good to have him home for his birthday and be able to take him out for dinner. And,
very cool.
Yeah.
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 Be parents again for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be worse. It could be worse. They could still live at home like mine do.
Exactly. Exactly. So, actually, he's just, him and a mate who he works with have just got themselves a rental property off base. And they actually got the keys to move in there on the day that he flew back here. 9 days ago. So he's spent a sum total of about half an hour in the house when he went and dropped off all of his stuff. So he'll be going back there to sort of move in and set up all of his stuff in that place. But he's talking about taking Randy with him. And I'm like,
oh, the dog?
No, I've only just trained him. He's fantastic now. I don't want to give him up now.
That's not the way it works. you left. Bad luck.
Yeah. So.
That'd be a bit hard.
It would be, but it is his dog, so it's like, okay.
Jesus.
But
ungrateful bloody kids.
So we'll see what happens there. I think if it does happen, it's not going to be soon because Max is going to be away from the Darwin base for 2 months at the beginning of next year.
See, he's too unreliable to have a dog
exactly.
up there. He just can't do it. Yeah. So
and that's what we keep saying. We keep going, mate, think about all the times you leave base. What are you going to do? Who's going to look after him? You might as well just leave him here.
Yeah, come and visit.
Exactly. So, yeah. Should we talk some photography stuff?
I was going to talk. Have you got any Christmas wishes photo-wise?
Oh.
Have you got anything on your wish list from Santa?
If I've got any wishes, it's that I would find some time to actually go out and shoot.
With that devicey thing that you got?
Yeah, I really should, shouldn't I? I really should. I spent the bloody money on it, so...
Yeah, a lot of money. Yeah. More than you told your wife.
Yeah. 100% more than I told my wife. Yeah.
I don't know how it works as well.
True.
Does it do the things that it's supposed to do, and is it as easy? I want to see how you go with your 16-shot panos and stuff like that. And so that's your challenge over the Christmas break. Definitely get that out. Inquiring us want to know.
Give it a go. Yep. Do you have any Christmas wishes?
Well, I'm starting to and ah about changing brands.
Oh.
Maybe go on Sony or Fuji.
Wow. And what's prompted that?
And for no reason other than my cameras are coming to end of life again.
Yep.
Because of how I treat them. So they need to be replaced. Now, I could just go straight into the Canon R system, but there's no support for other brands, which means having to do adapters, which I'm not a huge fan of.
No. There are always compromises with adapters.
Yeah, so whereas I could go to Sony and Tamron to just load me up with all the lenses for that I desire for that.
Yep.
Or go Fuji and they could load me up, or even I've got a real hankering, as I've said for a long time, for this Nikon ZFs.
Okay.
Because they just remind me so much of my early Nikon FMs when I was starting. Well, way back in the early days of film for me.
Yeah, right.
Just that traditional sort of style camera. And so I know Tamron are coming out with more and more stuff for those as well. So it's very early days. It's literally only the last couple of days it started poodling, but that might become a...
And not to cast shade on the brand, but what would make you consider Fuji as a destination?
Once again, it's the style of camera. I just love the cameras themselves. They're that more retro, traditional feel camera that I kind of like.
As a portrait photographer, wouldn't you find the depth of field on a 4/3 not as, creamy bokeh as you get
I
off 35
don't worry about that, though.
You don't?
But I never care about that anyway. I never have.
Fair enough.
really interest me.
Okay.
I don't shoot that type of portraiture.
No,
I
that's
shoot
true.
craggy old men in hard lighting and usually low very contrasty stuff. That stuff doesn't lend to hard style portraiture like that. Isn't ever going to look good with soft, blurry background anyway. It's an anachronism to each other.
Yeah, fair enough.
So there's but I mean, if I had unlimited, just buy whatever, I would probably lean towards a Nikon ZF.
Right.
And I just don't know enough about all the different Sony cameras because there's so many bloody of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like I don't know how many different A7s there are. That just gets my feeble brain. It's just a bit too hard.
Okay, so the quick crash course is you have the A7, and then there was an S and an R. The R was always for resolution, so it was the higher resolution sensor. And the S...
That doesn't matter, yeah.
And the S was always about lower noise. So it was generally a lower resolution sensor, and it was more video-centric, or it was targeted more to the video crowd than to the stills crowd.
But it's S for stills. It should have been V for video then.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose S.
Or N for not as much noise.
Yeah, you would think so. And so then basically each later generation just goes up a number. So A7 2, and then 2S 2R, and then A7 3, 3S 3R, etc., etc.
Oh, that went up to like 4 or 5.
No, the 5 has just... I think the 5 has just come out, I think.
Okay.
But that's the A7 5. There is no R or S variant yet. That will come next year. And then, of course, you've got the A9 III, which just came out, which is just...
They do look pretty nice, I've got to say.
That is the shizzle.
But they're, silly expensive.
It would be close to 10 grand in Australian dollars, for the body only. But, the global shutter, that is what I find really interesting about that particular camera. So there's no rolling shutter issues. You've got the ability to fire up to 1/80,000th of a second with flash sync at that speed. That's phenomenal.
Man. But you got no range.
Yeah, probably, but
you have 2 inches. It's perfect for macro work, maybe.
Yeah,
because you think the type of shutter is not the entire sensor isn't exposed for that duration of.
Yes, it is. That's time. The whole point. That's the whole point of the global shutter.
No rolling shutter. I wasn't listening to you. Sorry.
How unusual. No, that's the whole point of the global shutter. Every pixel fires simultaneously.
Oh, well, that's okay then. That works.
Yeah.
Well, I just quickly check the price. $9,999.
Yes,
it's not even 10,000.
It's not even.
Actually, I lied. It's $9,999 and 95 cents. But these people got it on special. These people got it on special for $999.00. They're taking a whole 95 cents off.
Sweet. Yeah.
Wow.
So that is a cracker of a camera, and I dare say that Sony released it when they did, so that they can get it to market in time for the 24 Olympics.
Yeah,
and then the stuff that we're going to see come out of the 24 Olympics is just going to be phenomenal.
Revolutionise, yeah. But it's double the price of the 9.2. My goodness, it's a big jump.
It is a huge jump. But they've said right from the outset, this is aimed at pro shooters only. Or those who are
else is paying,
got more dollars than cents. So
since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
I was just looking at Facebook just before my mate Yusuf in Bangladesh. He leads photo tours there,
right?
And he's at this location that I've been to, and it's a coal docks where people are unloading ships with coal by hand, right? And he's photographing. He's got his 2 clients. He's taking a photo of them, and they're shooting the people walking off. And then he's got a selfie of the 3 of them together, and one guy's got two Hasselblads around his neck, two digital Hasselblads.
Jeez.
And the other guy's got two Leicas. Like, yeah. I mean, this guy, I don't know who they are. These guys could be remarkable shooters.
Yeah.
But oh my god, it's. I mean, the guy with the two Hasselblads must have had $40,000 of cameras around his neck.
Yeah.
So there are people out there who'll spend that sort of money without even thinking twice about it. But it's just funny how you said that, and then that image of those guys with the Hasselblads. I had to zoom in and say, what's that he got around his neck? Oh bloody hell, he's got two Blads. It's just ridiculous. So I'm umming and ahhing, and also to keep myself relevant to Tamron is if they're no longer supporting mirrored SLR cameras, and that's all I shoot with. Well, why would they want to have anything to do with me?
Yeah.
So, and they won't throw free lenses at me if I don't have gear that they can put it on.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Yeah.
So so I was really thinking about between now and the next tour to India is grabbing a couple of new bodies.
Yeah, right.
A whole bunch of new lenses and going from there. So
yeah. Nice.
So, that's my. So if Santa wants to drop any or all of those brands, all that guy's two Hasselblads, you can drop those, and I'll just sell them and buy other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll work pretty well. Yeah. So let's see how we go for Christmas.
Yeah.
Either that or an Xbox. Or a new iPad would be nice.
Right.
Yeah, just in case any of you guys out there are thinking about, sending a little something.
What do you got on your list?
One. I've got a few interesting things. First up, one is just a something I noted about the lovely people at Adobe.
Yeah.
You've heard of those, Adobe?
I have.
Those guys?
Yeah.
They posted a profit of $5 billion for the first quarter.
For the first quarter?
For the first quarter.
Yikes.
I remember when banks used to make that as an annual profit.
Yeah.
And there's this little software company in a quarter making $5 billion.
Yeah.
Just blew me away.
Still, you can do that when you jack up your monthly subscription the moment everyone turns their back.
I know.
Hey?
I know, and that's the thing, isn't it? So that's where you Darktable, they're not making $5 billion a quarter.
No. That's one of the reasons why I left them.
Yeah, $5 billion. Maybe I have to learn how to use Darktable. Do you know any good videos?
None.
Yeah, that was my problem. And speaking of profits, I found out today that more than 50% of Fuji business is their Instax instant cameras.
Is that
and
right?
Growing. Yeah,
wow.
So the majority of the money they make from photography is from instant cameras, instant film, not from their mass range of lenses and cameras.
Wow.
Which is quite amazing, and growing as well, apparently.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's
So what are their Instax cameras?
they're just the old. Think of the old Polaroid cameras. Instant photo cameras.
Right. So they
Basically
have the actual print paper inside the camera.
Well, not but you remember what a Polaroid camera was like.
Yeah, but it came out.
The photo came out, and then it would slowly develop over a couple of minutes. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, right. So the actual photo paper is in the camera.
The photo and the chemicals, because it's a chemical process.
Of course.
And it's just you just buy the little cassettes of paper and shove it in the camera, and away you go.
Yeah, right.
Astounding. Now, I learned something else today as well. So I came across this article about the world's oldest undeveloped film got developed.
Wow.
Okay. So a guy bought this camera at auction that had a 134-year-old roll of film inside it. Right?
Wow.
But here's the thing, though. It was from a photographer in Melbourne who took these photos in 1889. This woman was a very good golfer, apparently, a woman golfer, and an avid photographer.
Wow.
And she bought a Kodak 1 camera.
Right.
Number 1. And apparently, and I didn't know this, the way Kodak number 1, you bought the camera, it had the film inside it. And the film, I don't know how it works, but the film could take up to 100 photos.
What?
Yeah, so in 1889, they could take up to 100 photos on this one roll of film.
Wow.
I don't know why it's up to, but it was up to 100 photos. And then you had to send the entire camera back to Kodak, where they'd take it all out, develop the film for you, reload the camera, and send the camera back with a new film in it and and your photos. Wow. And because it took, it was like 100 photos, takes a long time to use up back in the days of film. Yeah, a roll. I remember a guy coming into the camera store I was working in years ago, getting a roll of 36 developed. It had 3 different Christmases on it. So it can take a while to even use up just a third of that.
Yeah, right.
And he probably shot the last 4 or 5 off just to use them,
just to finish the roll. Yeah.
So what this woman had done,
he thought to himself, "There's only 4 frames left. I'm not going to get through next Christmas on that, so I've got it."
Exactly. Better get it done. But apparently this woman, I didn't read the article in full or closely, but she had a journal of some form talking about what the images were. Because imagine if you had to shoot 100 photos, it could be quite a while before you would get it developed and you forgot what you took photos of. So she had a little data sheet, information sheets for each exposure, where they could write down the date, the weather, the subject, and other details. And Miss Mackenzie, her name was, diligently filled out the information sheets for 29 photos.
Wow.
But the problem is, and I haven't read it, looks like they could only get one salvable image from it, which in itself is remarkable, because they had to try and find someone who could develop a 134-year-old nitrate-based celluloid film.
I was going to say, it probably wasn't C41. You'd really have to do some exploring to find out what the process was, what chemicals were needed.
It's amazing. Yeah. So there's a place in Canada called Film Rescue International, which I think we've talked about them on the podcast in the past.
Right. Okay.
And that's their specialty is salvaging old stuff.
Wow.
The expert technician was wearing infrared goggles while developing the film, so he could see when the film was responding to development and pull it before it got too dense.
Wow.
With the fogging and mottling on the film, it was really difficult to tell if there was anything on it at all. So the entire film was digitised using our Phase 1 cultural heritage setup. And then we can increase contrast, see if there's anything to be gleaned. And it looks like they got one image and they can't... It's a photo of it in the article. And to me, what it looks like is they've taken a photo of themselves. It's like maybe the first selfie. Because photographers often take photos of a shadow, the shadows of themselves on the ground. So there's these 2 people looking over a camera that appears to be on a tripod or some sort of stand.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's them shooting down or shooting at other people directly in front of them taking photos. Who knows?
But, shooting into a mirror.
Or shooting into a mirror, exactly. There's so little detail. It certainly inspires the imagination as to what it could be,
Wow.
But it's quite a cool little story in there. It's worthwhile reading, and that I thought was pretty darn cool. It's a 134-year-old piece of film.
That's very cool.
And the guy had this dilemma do I develop it or not develop it?
Yeah.
It stood the test of time, and it's Schrödinger's photos at that point, isn't it?
Totally.
Are there photos on there? Are there not photos? Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. And last but not least, and this is I think the announcement's tomorrow morning, and I'll see if it's true or not. Mm-hmm. But my favourite iPhone photo app, is the thing called Hipstamatic. And it's a freaking amazing piece of app. It is just astounding. But from the teasers that I've seen online, they may be making a real camera.
Wow. In the style of a viewfinder.
In the style of an old
rangefinder.
A little rangefinder, yeah.
Wow.
And Hipstamatics are just the coolest bloody... I've been using it for at least a decade, I'd say.
Sorry, as an app?
As an app, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I hadn't used it in ages, and I just picked up again today after reading this article and turned on, pressed one photo of absolutely boring as bat scene. And I looked at it, it's like, oh, that looks so good. it just does stuff. It just does stuff to photos that just makes them look so damn good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be real, if it's going to happen, if it's coming out. But if it is, we'll know by Well, certainly by next episode.
Yeah.
And if it is,
Definitely.
and if it's not too expensive, that might become a new camera for me as well. Yeah,
Nice.
Because it's kind of got, if it's got that old analog, so it's basically a digital analog camera, the app, and it recreates old lens styles and old film styles and fogging and all sorts. So it creates all these really kind of cool analog sort of looks.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, I backed a Kickstarter, if you remember, this little Yashica Y35, where you put little fake films in, and I loved that thing to pieces till it stopped working, which was about 6 weeks into owning it, unfortunately. But that thing was just brilliant because it was so unpredictable and so radically fun to play with. And I'm hoping this thing's going to be the same thing. So I hope it's not going to be stupid expensive.
Yeah, right.
But I'm really looking forward to it. So that's got to be a bit hot and heavy, I've got to say. So. But so that's all I've got on my list.
Okay. Cool.
Of stuff that excited me since we last talked. Has anything excited you?
Well, Paul Sutton sent me a couple of things. I'll just quickly belt through these. 5 ways smartphone photography is changing how we see the world. I must admit, I only saw this email come in today, so I've not had much time to actually look at it. Number 1, we make images more casually and with a wider subject matter. I thought, yes, totally. Right. I'd agree with that.
Well, I mean, I take photos of my shopping list to go to the shops.
Yeah,
that's what I did today.
Yep.
So I'm at the shops and I'll take a photo of something and send it to my wife. Is this what you want? Stuff that we would never. We do use them definitely in ways that's above trying to take a photo. Yep. We use them as a communication device as well.
Absolutely. 2, we aren't as selfie obsessed as some would think. Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I find that. Well, they're saying that we only use the selfie camera 14% of the time. But it says here, our participants only use their phone. Now, who's doing this? If it's Petapixel that did it, which are a bunch of old people, Bruce.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not hip and young and
not the target
people.
audience.
That's the words that they use. Hip and young. So I reckon it'd be the other way. It'd be 14% would use the front, would use the other camera. 86%.
Yeah, but those 14% are just people who push the wrong button.
Yeah, so I think, because I've got to tell you right now, my kiddo, my 13-year-old, never uses only ever uses the selfie camera.
Right.
Continually.
Yeah.
Even if she's taking a photo of something else, she'll turn around and face at the other, not even see what she's aiming at.
Number 3, we're seeing more vertical compositions. Now, on one hand, I go, yeah, but you're wrong. But also, that's just repeating one that we use it in different ways. So, yeah, I'm not sure that really counts.
But I would say that maybe there, if we expand this beyond photo, that there's certainly more vertical video shot than ever in the past.
Oh, absolutely. I hate it. ABC is really pushing for it.
Too. But it is because once again, people don't consume on horizontal devices.
Yeah,
the target audience doesn't consume their content on TVs or laptops or iPads.
It's all on mobile devices.
Their phone. So I can certainly see. There's a lot more of that, and therefore, if you're doing more video that way, it would kind of make sense that maybe you take photos that way too.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so I can sort of see that.
Yep. Number 4, we like to keep our distance. Participants made more images of people from further away compared to getting close. I just think that's more stalkerism than it is a choice to shoot, differently. I just think it's, no one wants to walk up to a complete stranger and go, hey, I'd really like to take your portrait. So people are just taking photos from further away. Either that or they're just too lazy to move.
So this is the quote for this. I feel like my friends and I get frustrated with parents when they're zooming in a photo or they walk in really close. My mum would always get one like right in my face, like, this is too close. I don't want to see this. Zoom in. It's frustrating. Well, she just complained about her zooming in the previous. She complained about her zooming in and said she should be zooming in. I don't understand young people. Let's all disagree on that one.
Number 5, we get inspired by what we see online. And I'll agree with that there is inspiration to be taken.
Copycat. Well, you could use the word inspiration if you like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Copycats are better. This is what. Now I've seen these strange videos come up on my Facebook. I think they're TikTok type short things.
Right.
It's like there'll be like 5 in a row, and they all look exactly the same.
Right.
They're all there's in the framing, the size the people are, all this. It's like you're just seeing 5 of the same thing, but there's different people in each one. And it doesn't matter how often I refresh my screens; they all seem to be the same.
Yeah.
They're copying what everyone else is doing, basically, as you're saying. Why the way we make? Why the way we make images matters. Technology changing, blah 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 blah. I don't understand. He's a senior lecturer in visible. Oh, this is another Victorian article, because he's a senior lecturer in visual communication and digital media at RMIT University.
Right.
That's the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. Or something like that.
That's it. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe they are young people they're talking to.
Yeah, could be.
Who would have thunk?
Yeah. And Paul's other story is the NFL reveals ultra-rare lens that it uses to capture stunning cinema-style shots. NFL Films has dropped a short documentary about an amazing and rare lens that it uses to capture the jaw-dropping shots regularly seen by fans. The Optex 33-1 is a Canon broadcast lens that has been rehoused and converted into a cinema lens with T-stops. There were only 15 of the lenses ever sold worldwide, and the NFL owns 2 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Very cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's a beast. Put
those links in the.
It's been used since the 2000 season. So they've been using it for 20+ years.
Yeah. Right.
Which is quite amazing.
Yeah. Now I dug out a few of the photos that I've processed from my Alaska trip, and I emailed them through to you with the heading.
You did, which I promptly ignored.
Yes. Pics exploring low light, and they were.
I looked at the first photo. I thought they're crap. I'm not going to look at that. Why is he sending me somebody's really crappy article? Now I realise it's yours. So tell me why you're sending me this really crappy article.
Well,
what was your thoughts?
The underlying theme over these, I don't know, 8 or 10 shots. I don't know how many I sent you, but the underlying theme here was me shooting in a way that is different to what I've normally done. In that, in that these were all taken at dusk, different days, of course, but they're all taken at dusk. And what I've noticed is that if you left it to the camera to decide the exposure, it would try and make everything 18% grey. And that would mean that all of these shots would end up being overexposed and would lose all of the mood. And so I made
That's the way cameras work.
That's exactly right. And so I sort of made it a conscious choice to manually expose and set it for 1.5 stops under according to the light meter, or 2 stops under according to the light meter. And I thought to myself, it'll be interesting to see how these come out when I get home and I process them through Darktable and whatever. And I'm really happy with the way they've all come out, because I feel like they're more representative of the light that I experienced at the time that I captured these images.
Absolutely. Yeah, far more of what your eye saw.
Yeah. And I guess...
And some of them are an eyesore,
yeah.
I might say.
I was waiting for it. Yeah. And I feel like because I did that, the highlights are not clipped in the way that they normally would have ended up if I'd allowed the camera to choose the exposure.
Yeah, so I don't understand it, Bruce.
What bit don't you understand?
Well, why you'd want to take a photo and not have control of it in the first place, regardless of whether it's daytime or nighttime.
Well, the cameras...
Why would you be taking the... but
the cameras...
You're not a point and press the button.
Yeah, no, yeah, true.
So even if you were doing auto and your first shot, that's too bright, you'd just exposure compensate to look the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So it's what you would have done anyway.
But I think this is the first time where I've really
consciously grasped it?
Well, I guess for these particular images, daytime stuff is a different matter, where this stuff, it's
exactly the same.
I suppose, but it's the first time where I've really, gone, I don't want the camera deciding what it thinks is correct exposure here, because I know it's going to stuff it up.
You've done concert photography before.
Yes.
Okay, same principle.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want the person in the spotlight, not the rest of the scene.
Yes, absolutely.
You've taken photos of people in a shaft of sunlight on a day outside.
Yeah,
and the shade around. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I suppose.
If you're taking a photograph of someone in a shaft of sunlight and the rest is in shade, if you don't take control of the exposure, it's not going to come out.
Yeah,
right.
You need to meter
and
for that.
And taking control could either you don't actually need to meter. Yeah, metering's. I don't meter almost anything, Bruce.
Okay.
You're
just using your Sunny 18 rule, are you?
No, the way I shoot, when I teach how to do it properly. When I shoot, I press the button, then twirl dials till it looks the way I want it.
No, you don't.
So that's I do. So usually it's going to be there. If I'm shooting an aperture or shutter priority or program, I don't care with either one. Yeah. If I don't have a preference for aperture or a particular shutter speed, I don't care what mode I shoot in.
Yeah.
I will normally know to exposure compensate either up or down before I take the shot.
Yeah.
And it's only ever going to be a guess of roughly what you think it's going to be.
Sure.
And then it's going to be a tweak.
Yeah.
So it's a guess, press the button, tweak.
Yep.
And the tweak is still kind of a guess anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a more accurate guess because you've narrowed it down how much more you have to click.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... You could spend time and spot meter the subject, any of these nighttime subjects or daytime subjects, and get your exposure pretty close to right first time.
Yep.
But who cares?
Yeah.
Just press the button and twirl the dial afterwards. And then fix it in darkroom. No, but yes, I'm saying to me, I get that it's really hit home to you, and that's brilliant. It's a great step as a photographer.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine it any other way.
No, but I guess you've got a lot more runs on the board. You've been doing this a lot longer.
I know, and that's why when you showed it to me, I'm going, but I don't understand. And essentially, because I struggle to remember that.
Yeah,
that's something you would have to think about.
Yeah.
Especially in these lower, more more evenly lit scenes. They're not perfectly evenly lit, but they are more evenly lit than a bright sunshine and dark shadow.
Yeah, right.
Because the dynamic range is nowhere near as great. So the mistake the camera would make would not be as big.
Right.
I would say, if you've got someone standing under a white spotlight on stage and the rest of the stage is black, that camera's going to make a hell of a big mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's going to try and bring all of that black up to 18%. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so where you've still got obviously some late light in the day, it's dusk, but it's not black.
Yeah.
Especially one of like the Nagley store shot there. The camera will still make a mistake, but it won't be. It'll be a lot easier to understand how to fix the mistake than someone who has less knowledge, seeing that person in the spotlight completely washed out and go, "What the hell do I do now?"
Yeah. Yeah,
because you might only be out by a stop or stop and a half or 3/4 of a stop or whatever, But I do like, just talking about this, I do like the one of the guitarist in the window.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah,
that's cool. And then the guy leaning on the sort of the entrance to the
into the pub,
the tavern there. Yeah, it's got a kind of a nice story to it.
Yes. Yeah,
I can, because the kid's looking down. Yeah, he's on the phone. Yeah. What's he on the phone for? Is he apologising to his date who's rushed off and left him? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Is he sending a message saying, I know I was late, I just got here, I know, and you've all gone, I'm sorry? Or is he he's calling an Uber, texting, but there's a good story going on there, and I'm going to play the country twang
devil's advocate there.
Do
and go, he might be leaning down to light a cigarette.
He could be. You'd be wrong, because young people don't smoke. They vape, and the vapes don't require lighting. No, but yeah, absolutely, it could be. But I would posit to you in this fictional storytelling that if you had to go outside to smoke, you would probably face outwards so the smoke didn't blow back in through the door.
Probably.
But I would also posit to you that if it was windy, he's turned his back against the wind so the cigarette could light.
There you go.
Isn't it fascinating, the story? And can you hear the "Stand by your man" coming from the guitarist going there, and it's got that Tammy Wynette kind of feel to it.
They were actually a really good blues band. They were really good.
Really,
yeah,
really. So it's not "Stand by Your Man."
No.
It's not my dog broke down and my truck ran away and
that's it.
Yeah, all those. Oh dear.
So anyway,
but it's got a couple of nice shots there, dude. I'd like to see some more of your holiday shots.
Yeah, I did send you a link to the Google Drive.
Yeah, you stuffed that.
So I will look into why you can't access that, because that's got all of the images that I elected to process from the trip. So yeah.
Well, you send me it again, and we can critique it next. I'll bastardise some of your photos in post myself.
Of course you will.
We can agree that mine are crap and yours are the way you wanted them in the first place. Because, fun enough, out of the two of us, you know more about post processing than I do.
Is that right?
Well, because you're Mr. Darktable, you're the expert. My abilities in post are pathetic, quite frankly.
Right.
Are really very limited, and I guarantee they're never going to get any better because I'll never put in the effort in to learn anything. So I peaked about 10 years ago, and it's all been downhill since then. So you're still making a conscious effort to try and improve. So.
I am. Well, mate, it's been another great year, even if it's been a bit thin on the ground for podcast episodes.
Oh, lucky listeners.
Yes. So, have you got any plans for the Christmas silly season? Are you going anywhere with the family, or just staying home?
Just no plans. My wife is in the midst of a massive project at work and just completely inundated and has no ability to get off any time off or go anywhere, and therefore I can't really take the kids off places and enjoy ourselves without her because it makes her feel bad. So we'll do some small stuff and maybe if we're lucky get a weekend or two away, but that's probably going to be about it. But she's her 3-man team is doing the work of about 20 people across and the one department that she's supposed to run, she's running 4 or 5 different departments and having to do stuff she has zero knowledge of how to do. But there's no one else to do it, so she's under massive workload pressure. So that'll be our lot this summer.
I'm sure I've already said this, but I just feel like the entire capitalistic world used COVID as an excuse to just screw everybody harder.
Yeah.
Like,
look at Adobe, $5 billion in the first quarter.
Yeah, why can't you employ more people? You know, I hate when I ring places tight, and I still get these messages due to unprecedented demand. It's like, no, it's not.
If it's busy every time, that's not unprecedented.
Exactly.
That's precedented. There is precedent. It was like this yesterday and the day before. There's your freaking precedent.
And if your profits are going up, how about you employ more people? Anyway, we sound like a couple of cranky old men, mate.
Mind you, I was a bit mean tonight. There's a knock on the door. Yeah. I've walked to the front door, opened the door. There's this real estate guy.
Right.
You know the slimy real estate guys, and he's wringing his hands together. Not a good start.
Not a good start.
Possibly out of nerves, didn't come across that way. Yeah. And all he had like a polo shirt on with just the logo, the letters YPA, which I happen to know is a local real estate agent.
Right.
And he's gone, "Excuse me, sir, I'm sorry to bother you." And I've gone, "Real estate?" He's gone, "Yes." I just stuck my middle finger up at him and stared at him. He goes, "Oh." I said, "Night." Close the door. I'm not sure I really wanted. He could have said, "Oh, my car's run out of gas. Can I borrow you?" Oh, dear. We are curmudgeonly old men in there. Don't come knocking on my door with your damn real estate and your free alcohol and all those.
And your Watchtower magazine.
Oh, God. I didn't see the accident. Stop asking me to be a witness. Well, Fred, you have a lovely, lovely family Christmas. I'm glad the boys home to be with you guys.
Yep, and you too.
We shall see everyone look after yourselves over this stupid period.
Thank you for all of your continued support and your emails and
we love
things
all
to talk
7 of
about. And for the small handful who are patrons, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And we hope that you...
Do we have a Patreon, do we?
We do.
We should promote that every now and then. You know what we should do? Here's an idea.
Yeah.
Let's do a bonus non-episode for the Patreon listeners.
Okay.
So for every tier is one less episode you have to listen to. Yeah, it's like reverse Patreon.
That's it.
It's really. Maybe we could do a Patreon episode.
For each,
I don't know what we talk about.
You just have a separate podcast feed that has less episodes in it.
What we'll do is make you edit a shorter version of the episode,
right?
Like just the highlights, like a 2-minute synopsis, right. And that can go up on Patreon. They can just listen to that one rather than the whole episode.
You know what? Rather than even looking for content, it should be just jump forward 1 minute, delete the next minute of content. Jump forward 1 minute, delete the next minute of content.
So I reckon they could get this whole episode down in about 3 minutes for
That's
Patreons. There you go. You know, I reckon you just keep it short, sharp, and sweet.
That's it.
And in fact, you could have different levels, and each one's a minute shorter. So you start with like $5 gets you a 5-minute episode, $10 gets you a 4-minute episode. You know. Yeah, and the diamond one, it's like 33 seconds or something. That's just the intro music.
Yeah.
Do we still have intro music?
Yes, we do, mate.
Do you have outro music?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it good stuff? It's
great.
Has it always been the same music? Is it the same music it's always been?
Yeah, it's been the same for about 3 or 4 years now.
Oh, I think we need to spend we should get one of those Patreons, Fivers, go on Fiverr.com and make someone write us a new intro tune. Yeah. You're listening to Dickheads. Something like that, you know?
And on that note, we'll wrap it up for 2023.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I'll sing Christmas carols as you wind us out.
Excellent, mate.
You can do the
So thank you everybody for your continued support, and we will talk to you all again mid-January of 2024. Have a good one, people.
This is better than the outro music you've normally got. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. There you go. How long does your outro go for? Should I keep singing? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.